What's going on, people? It's the Xbot 448, and today I got a question for you. With that recent news about Fable Legends and them ceasing development, basically the game's not coming out, and Lionhead Studios being closed down, has it really affected you? Have you been walking around day after day depressed, thinking about those special times you had in Fable 1, 2, and 3? For some people, maybe not 3. That seems to be one of the most hated in the franchise. If you're like me and you're really concerned about the Fable franchise and you're upset that it looks like this is the end, I have some very good news for you guys. A possibility for more Fable. I was on Twitter this morning and I saw an article. I will post a link in the description below. But it basically stated that the creators of Fable, the Carter brothers, they hit Twitter and they expressed interest in rebooting the franchise. Not only that, but developers that have worked on Fable at Lionhead Studios, ex-Lionhead Studios developers, went on Twitter and basically expressed interest on, doing something with this project as well. First and foremost, I wouldn't think too much of it, but they did tag Phil Spencer in these tweets. So their interest in doing this is, pretty solid. It seems like this is something they really want to do, and they want to see if Microsoft is willing to, give it that one more chance. And I think Microsoft should. Here's the thing when it came to the original Fables. This is one of the reasons why I am excited of a possibility of a reboot. When it came to the first Fable, I don't think they set up the story to really go into a sequel. It was a new game, had a couple new aspects to it, and I think that Lionhead Studios, Microsoft, they didn't know if it was really going to take off or not. And it was a pretty popular game. There was a lot of critics out there that talked about, some issues within the game. But all in all, with the gamers, I think it was a fairly popular game. It became known. So if it became known, regardless of sales, if it became known and known as a good game within the gaming community, I look at that as a success. When Fable 2 came out, it was even more successful. A lot of people state that that's probably the best Fable out of the 3, or actually 4, because they came out with a Kinect version as well, but we'll go into that some other time. But out of the 3 main Fables, I think a lot of people said that Fable 2 kind of, was on the mark the most. Now, there was a lot of critics about Fable 3. I think Fable 3 is probably the most hated out of the 3. Now, here's the thing when it came to those games. Like I said, I don't think they set up for sequels. I know, there was one where you had a child and the child grew up and that was the next character in Fable and stuff. But when it came to what was going on in Albion, when it came to the antagonist, I think one of the things that kind of had Fable fall short is there was no set antagonist. For every Fable there was a different problem, okay? Now if they restructure Fable, they do a reboot, they have the chance to go in to the infrastructure of the game, of the environment, of Albion. And for people who know the story of Fable, there were heroes way back in the day that used to protect the people from all sorts of darknesses and stuff like that, all sorts of problems, all sorts of evil things. And eventually they just disappeared. Now, in Fable, basically, you're coming back as a hero. So now all of a sudden heroes are appearing again. If they do a reboot, when heroes appear, why not let like a dark sector appear? Villainous characters that kind of have the opposite in mind of the heroes. They just want to take over and control everything, compared to the heroes who want to, you know, defend civilization, quote unquote, fight for freedom of the people and stuff like that. You can have kind of like a power struggle over, you know, the throne of Albion, and that would be an easier way to set up sequels for the game. Not only that, as long as you have that core antagonist structure, you can introduce other villainous things in sequels as well, but you can always fall back to that core, those dark heroes. That's the best thing I could call them, because, you know, they call the heroes with the power, you know, the people with the powers, they call them heroes in the game. So, like, have that dark sector of heroes that's always trying to work in the shadows and take over the throne, okay? If they set up that infrastructure, that power struggle, it'd be a lot easier for people to accept sequels and such, and they can introduce new characters, you know, bigger dark heroes and stuff like that. The story can just progress and evolve more naturally. I think that, you know, going from Fable 1 to 2 to 3, they kind of pushed the franchise forward, and it didn't necessarily evolve naturally. Another thing I think they did is I think they went ahead in time too quickly from the original Fable, Fable 2 to Fable 3. I know one of the biggest issues a lot of people had with Fable 3 was the use of guns. Like how all of a sudden within the third title of the franchise, guns are everywhere. You know, you have handguns, you have rifles and stuff like that. I think they evolved the time a little too quickly. All right, and if they do a reboot, they can fix these issues. And these devs want to do this. The creators and these devs hit Twitter and they want to do this. Not only that, like I said, they tagged Phil Spencer, and you know Phil Spencer is a gamer, and that had to be a really tough decision in terms of Lionhead Studios. But if they can create a new, smaller studio and really have them focused on doing the Fable framework right, I believe that Fable will be a successful franchise. I did enjoy Fables 1, 2, and 3, but I did see holes in the evolution of these games. As usual, guys, if, you know, I want to hear what you guys have to say, so definitely hit up that comment section. Would you accept a Fable reboot if they kind of made a smaller studio, call it like Albion Studios or something like that, and they were focused on this franchise and fixing those holes that I saw in the framework of the Fable franchise? Do you think the Fable franchise deserves to be rebooted? As usual, guys, if you like the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. I have a giveaway coming up. I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. But yeah, definitely hit up that comment section. I really want to know what you guys think about this news. But as for now, this is the X-Spot 448, and I am definitely signing off.